Good. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So let me say, and I love you back, and I love you back. So let me say, my heart is full today. My heart is full today, full of gratitude for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country, and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. As long as we never give up, and as long as we keep fighting. To my beloved Doug and our family, I love you so very much. To President Biden and Dr. Biden, thank you for your faith and support. To Governor Walz and the Walz family, I know your service to our nation will continue. And to my extraordinary team, to the volunteers who gave so much of themselves, to the poll workers and the local election officials, I thank you all. Look, I am so proud of the race we ran, and the way we ran it, Over the 107 days of this campaign, we have been intentional about building community and building coalitions, bringing people together from every walk of life and background, united by love of country with enthusiasm and joy in our fight for America's future. And we did it with the knowledge that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States. And loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. The fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people, a fight for the ideals at the heart of our nation, the ideals that reflect America at our best. That is a fight I will never give up. I will never give up the fight for a future where Americans can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have the freedom to make decisions about their own body and not have their government telling them what to do. We will never give up the fight to protect our schools and our streets from gun violence. And America, we will never give up the fight for our democracy, for the rule of law, for equal justice, and for the sacred idea that every one of us, no matter who we are or where we start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be respected and upheld. And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. And we will also wage it in quieter ways, in how we live our lives, by treating one another with kindness and respect, by looking in the face of a stranger and seeing a neighbor, by always using our strength to lift people up, to fight for the dignity that all people deserve. The fight for our freedom will take hard work, but like I always say, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And the fight for our country is always worth it. It is always worth it. To the young people who are watching, it is, I love you. To the young people who are watching, it is okay to feel sad and disappointed, but please know it's going to be okay. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before. You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. And so to everyone who is watching, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice and the future that we all know we can build together. Look, many of you know I started out as a prosecutor, and throughout my career, I saw people at some of the worst times in their lives. People who had suffered great harm and great pain, and yet found within themselves the strength and the courage and the resolve to take the stand, to take a stand, to fight for justice, to fight for themselves, to fight for others. So let their courage be our inspiration. Let their determination be our charge. And I'll close with this. There's an adage an historian once called a law of history, true of every society across the ages. The adage is, only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. The light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service. HU. And may that work guide us, even in the face of setbacks, toward the extraordinary promise of the United States of America. I thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.
You don't hear no theme music and you barely see his face. Hey, we are the Let's Get Canceled podcast. I'm your boy, Tommy with an H. I'm the voice of the people. I'm speaking for y'all tonight.
Niggas, y'all know who I am. Now, I'm your boy, Big Tech Dog, your favorite friendly, lovable, loudmouth. Hey, yo, cousin.
What up, cousin?
Yeah, you ready?
Nah, not really, but we got to be ready, man.
Oh, I'm about to get canceled.
Let's get canceled, man. Hey, yo, tonight's episode is going to be right to the point a little bit. Hey, we had an election last night.
Did we? I didn't hear about it.
You saw the results this morning.
Jeez.
And we are here to talk about it with you guys. So, cousin, I'm going to talk to you while I got you on here, man. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Up, man? Let's do it.
How you feeling, man? How you feeling?
I am thoroughly disappointed. I can't say that I'm completely surprised, but I am thoroughly disappointed. I was optimistic. I was optimistic. However, boy, if America ain't America, boy, it definitely did its American thing.
America did America, as I expected. Now, you said you were optimistic. I really was not. What up, though, boy? What up? Yeah, I really wasn't. I wasn't shocked at all. This is exactly how I saw it coming down. And landslide. That's what landslide.
You ain't lying, bro.
That's what I saw coming.
He didn't barely win. That nigga won.
No, he got it everywhere. He did what he was supposed, what I expected him to do. Now, all of the folks that did not expect this, the folks that are so broken by this, I'm not understanding where that's coming from based on the history of America. This is America. This is what we do.
Well, before I get into that,
I'm going to take a shot. You want to take a shot?
Notice mine is all the way full.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that tonight.
This is one of them nights. Salute.
Yeah, salute. But yeah. So as far as Kamala goes, do you think she ran a good race based on her having only been in it for a little over 100 days or so? Do you think her race was run the right way?
Oh, see, those are two different questions to me. I'm gonna tell you why. I think, honestly, a good race in general, I think she did. I think she did run a good race. Do I think she ran the most effective race or the most necessary race? Obviously not. You know what I'm saying? Because and I've said this I said this to you earlier. She did what she thought needed to be done by trying to make a stark difference between herself and Hillary Clinton's campaign. In my opinion, because if you notice, Hillary Clinton was all about women breaking the glass ceiling and going up and all this other stuff. She steered away from that. She steered away from the whole "I'm a woman" thing. She steered away from the black thing. She steered away from the Indian thing. She steered away from all of that because I think she was betting that Donald Trump was going to go so hard at those things that he would look like a bully to a woman in the campaign. And you know what? He did. Here's the problem. They like that bully.
They
like that nigga. Like they didn't care. They wanted him to beat her up more. Yeah. That nigga at the his closing arguments, as they called it, he stopped short of calling them all a bitch. he said, and you know, and that nigga, we know what you was trying to say.
You knew exactly where he was going with that. But that's one of those situations in this election where, as I've stated before about the Democratic Party, is that they're so good at fumbling the bag. They're so good at dropping the ball. They're so good at fucking up a good thing. Because there were opportunities. There was a narrative there that could have been hopped on, jumped on, perpetuated throughout everything, and instead they went bland. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why they didn't feel the need to go super hard at what Donald Trump's record was, at her being a woman, at her being the black woman, breaking that glass ceiling, like you were saying, going the Hillary route, but also distancing herself from the record of Joe Biden.
Because she wanted to toe that line. So here's what I believe black women run into on a regular basis. How do you dance the fine line of being strong but not too strong, assertive but not too assertive, being heard but not too loud? How do you understand what I'm saying? And so what they end up doing is you end up with this old white man who is beloved in Joe Biden, and then you get this black woman who is not tolerated. Known. They're barely tolerated. Like, let's be real. And the only thing that you remember her for before this, the two things. You remember what you heard about her record as far as being the DA in California, and you heard her on that debate stage against Joe Biden when she had the little shot about the busing thing. You know what I'm saying? Well, right. I was that little girl. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why, when your strongest point away from criminal justice was I was that little girl, where you stood on being female, stood on being a minority, did you run away from that? You understand what I'm saying? Like you went away from that. Now, am I blaming her for that? Because at the moment, I'm being honest. During the whole time of her 107 days, I think it was, of a campaign, I thought she was doing the right thing. I thought, you know what,
she was going to make it. You thought she was
going to. I absolutely did. I thought so much. Let me tell you what happened to me. I thought she was going to make it so much that I, like a dummy, and some of y'all saw the post. I posted, I'm like, note to self, next time, early voting. I didn't vote until last night, right? I drove from one county to another because I work in one county. I live in a different county. I drove, it come out to about, in rush hour traffic, about an hour. I drove about an hour to get back over to my polling location. And my wife had to go to a different polling location because we hadn't switched our registration stuff yet. So she had and I hadn't. And so I had to go to one polling location. She had to go to a different polling location. And in between that, my daughter had to go somewhere else. So we drove. I had to wade through a sea, and I am not exaggerating, of 30 to 40 Trump supporters. So much so that there was a nigga out there with a full-size, life-size Trump cutout, bro. Like, so it's getting dark. So I'm walking up. I'm not joking. Like, the traffic was so bad, I had them drop me off across the street so they could easily get to the light and turn around. And I was crossing the street. I had to go through this whole line. We're talking the big Trump flags and all that. And then there was a dude with a life-size cutout of Donald Trump. And it looked real. Like for a split second, I was like, oh, snap, what is that nigga doing here? Oh, that's not him for real. And
they
walked in there. And I stood in line and I did my civic duty. And then after that, when my wife dropped my daughter off, she came back, picked me up, and I took her to her polling location. And I waited outside for an hour while she went in and got in line and voted. Now, two things. I will never do that again. I promise you. I promise you. I'll make sure that all registration has been changed over and that I vote early because I could have voted anywhere at that point. Mm-hmm. And number two, I won't ever take anything for granted because I've learned something. I learned something very valuable. White folks talk a good game, but what they do in the booth is completely different.
Bro. And that's what the numbers showed us. The numbers showed us a lot different than what you thought was going to happen. Now, she did put up a great fight. But, and again,
let me show you this real quick.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
and now I downloaded a whole bunch of stuff and then I decided against it. And I just pulled this up right here. Like, so check this out. If you look here by gender, right? You see this.
Mm-hmm.
Women 18 to 29, they voted 61% Democratic, right? Women 30 to 44, 54. As they got older, it went down. It didn't go back up until you hit 65 and up.
Right.
So that means this little 45 to 64 in that range, 49%. So we went 50-50 with like, come on, bro.
Because morality doesn't mean anything, truthfully.
Apparently not. Apparently it means absolutely nothing. Apparently it means absolutely nothing to have women on the ballot. You've got a man who has said that he would do whatever he wants. That nigga's told y'all that he was going to protect y'all whether you like it or not. If that didn't sound aggressive, I don't know what is. Come on, nigga. And these now I want to what I'm looking for right now. I want to see where the women, the white women are, because I'm gonna tell y'all who let us down, and I'm gonna say it, and it is what it is. White women and Hispanics let us down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If need be, I will go with it. Yes.
I'm just asking, did you expect different?
From white people, no. From Hispanics, absolutely.
From white women. Because history has told us that white women assist in upholding white supremacy. It's a given. It's a history, and no matter how much they claim to be on our side, when it comes to us or them, they're never going to pick us. It's never us. It's always them.
You are absolutely right, sir.
And when we were speaking before during show prep, you were speaking about the women's suffrage movement, and when there was an option of all of us or us, it's us. It's never all of us.
Right.
So
you got to remember, bro.
We like to blame white men for forcing their women into doing these negative things and these white. No, sir. That's not how it is. They are just as culpable in all of the foolishness that happens throughout history as their white male counterparts are.
Bro, did you heard what Dave Chappelle said? Come on, white lady, you knew what it was. You was in on the heist. You just don't like your cut.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to. You always end up like it's white women historically have, when it comes down to women's suffrage, when it comes down to LGBTQ, when it comes down to voting rights, when it comes down to equal rights, when it comes down to everything down the line, white women say out of their mouth one thing, and they need you black people to help them. And what do? We help them, and then all of a sudden they go right over there back to where they was at.
They get to go behind the curtain. They get to go behind the curtain and do it. But for For black folks, I will say, you got to do it again.
I was just gonna have it in my coffee, but go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead, sir.
No, but for black people, I just want to say, black people, we can be okay. We're gonna be okay. We've been through this before.
Where's Umar Johnson?
No, actually,
Dr. Umar, I'm so sorry for everything I ever said about you.
Dr. Umar told y'all niggas that you're not as bad under Trump as you think you're gonna be, and you weren't gonna be as good under Kamala as you thought it was gonna be. That's where Dr. Umar falls.
Hey, Dr. Umar, shut up. Like, I'm going back to what I was at. Shut up.
But that's my thing with the black folks. I'm like, we've been here before. We've been through Donald Trump before. I think before he's able to actually get to us, he's going to run out of time, because he's going to start off with trying to deport people. And he's going to focus on making himself some money, and he's going to focus on stacking the courts. And like, it's going to affect us longer term than these 4 years. And we've got a chance to make some changes in the meantime, in between time. So whatever he gets to do in these first 2 years, we can reverse course on that in the midterms. So that's where we need to start putting our focus and stop fighting one another. Because I was looking today, and the young lady said that black men failed the black woman, and they should have protected her, and we didn't do our part. And
we did exactly what we always do.
Exactly. And this is what the black community does. We decide to point fingers at one another. And what I was saying earlier, if you look at the actual numbers, if every black person that voted had voted for Kamala, still would have lost. Still wouldn't have been enough. She got smacked by this guy during this. And again, it was nothing we could do to stop it. There should have been messaging towards white people that was going to appeal to white people, those who were jumping on the Trump bandwagon because of the job situation, because of the economy. There should have been a focus on that, instead of trying to say what Trump's not going to do, tell us what you are going to do. And that messaging did not come soon enough. Now, they did get on it later on. And again, that's another thing that I'm kind of upset with the Democratic Party on, is the fact that when there was an opportunity to get Joe Biden out of here well before July, you knew there was a decline happening well before July. Joe Biden knew something was going wrong well before July. His family knew. Those people who are around him on a daily basis knew there was something going wrong with him well before July. And you still allow him to come out, go into a debate, get his face bashed in, and now he has to bow out. There should have been a bow out a long time ago. Kamala should have been acting president last year. There should have been so many other things that went on.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Is that Joe Biden's fault? Is that Kamala Harris's fault?
It's the Democratic Party's fault. Because those people see him.
They do, right? But you would have had to stage a coup.
I don't think you got to stage a coup. I think
they couldn't convince Joe Biden to leave after the doggone debate. He ain't go. Look, Joe was looking at Joe, saying, "Hey, I can do it."
Oh man,
I'm being serious.
Oh man,
I'm being serious.
Right.
That's not hyperbole.
And then he's gonna forget that he said that, and he'll be like, "Okay, all good, dog." Like, come on, bro. Like, there are enough people that he respects around that you could have gotten all of that out of the way earlier. And then again, even if you did have to wait until this 100 days, there should have been messaging that was, instead of trying to shame white people into voting for you, give them a reason to vote for you.
Well, let me show you this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody just said, so what about the electoral votes or the right one won? So they're not doing that. Now, I don't understand what that question is.
At all.
So, Dennis, I'm gonna need you to explain that to me a little bit more. But this person just said, I think this is going to affect black people quicker than you think, especially with police immunity. And I agree.
They already have it. They already have it. They're already killing us with impunity. They don't care. They already got it. That's not going to change.
Impunity and immunity are two different things. And listen, immunity, I'm riding with this person.
Mm-hmm.
If you know that there's a possibility you will be prosecuted, you act a whole lot different when you know absolutely that you won't be. If you know that there's a possibility that you will be prosecuted, no matter how small, you'll think twice before you act in that extreme manner, or at least you take bigger steps to try to make sure, if I do it, I'm not going to do it out here. So that means that there's bigger opportunity for you for it not to happen. But if you know that you'll get away with it or you can't be charged, nigga.
You don't think that's how they operate now, as if I don't. That's
No.
exactly how they operate.
No, I think the worst ones do. We're talking about those middle of the road cops that don't care one way or the other. And that listen, I have seen, you ever heard that statement, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard?
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is when you have the power to do something, you'll do it because you can do it. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're a cop and you know that there's a possibility that you could be kicked off the force, you could be arrested, you could be thrown in jail for doing something, and you're just a middle of the road cop, you won't do it. But when you realize that, nothing will happen to me if I do it, then that dude who's just running his mouth, I'm quicker to go ahead and pull out the stick, or pull out the taser, or punch, or shoot. Worst case scenario, you know what I'm saying? It's so much easier. So you're gonna always have them cops that are just horrible, that think they can get away with everything. They're gonna do it one way or the other. But what I'm talking about is when you give them immunity, now the lower level who may or may not have done it, they're more likely to do it. And I'm sending 3 black men out into this world like that, with a bunch of hopped up, power hungry cops. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, but for me, I don't think it's getting any worse. I think they're already there. I think they're already there. Each and every one of them, if they want to do it, they'll do it. I don't think there's any of them that hold themselves back out of fear of prosecution.
Even if you're right, the ones that if they want to do it, they'll do it. Now we're talking about the ones who maybe don't want to do it, but they get pressure to do it. I'm telling you, this is some scary shit. This is what I'm talking about, bro. Like,
yeah. But I just feel like these folks gonna do what they're gonna. Evil is gonna be evil, regardless of. Evil's gonna be evil. So fear of retribution, fear of prosecution, fear of whatever, or there's nothing there. I'm evil anyway, so I'm doing what I want to do anyway. They're gonna do it anyway. The good cops are still gonna be the good cops. The bad cops are still gonna be the bad cops. You don't think the good cops are gonna stay good cops? So everyone's corrupted because they can be.
No, everyone is corruptible. Everyone is corruptible. Everyone is corruptible. And what I'm saying to you
think
is
everybody is everybody. You think everybody's corruptible? You don't think there are some people on the force to do good?
Yes.
And you don't think they would do good regardless of the opportunity to do wrong?
Not all of them.
I think people are just people. I don't think there's a reason to go off the reservation and do some stupid shit just because. I just don't think it's
what I'm telling you is that you know somebody in your life who is a stand-up type of person who made a mistake because they were in a bad situation. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying is that we all understand the principle of mob mentality. So what I'm telling you is that I firmly believe there are a lot more bad cops than we let on, than we believe. And I'm not saying that the most of them are, but I will say that I have been in situations where I'm a very level-headed person, and the guy next to me is a very level-headed person. And then the other 30 niggas we was with, though, they're not so level-headed. You understand what I'm saying?
You guys just fell into the mob mentality and just
it happens, bro. All right, so Dennis, this is what Dennis is posting up. All right, he says, so what happened with the electoral college votes? Are they not counting them anymore, or since the right dude won, they're not counting the votes anymore? So what I think he's getting at is the fact that last election cycle there was a whole big blow up about the electoral college and counting the votes and who gets what. What people have to understand, and I don't think that I was under the impression that everyone understood how that works, and apparently it's not. What it is that some states are what they call winner take all, right? So no matter what, whoever gets the most votes in that state gets all of the electoral college votes for that state that allotted. Different states have different weights. So California has a buttload of electoral college votes that they can throw behind a Kamala Harris. But then again, Florida got a whole lot or Texas got a whole lot of electoral votes that they're going to throw behind a Republican. So a lot of the time, that's why last night, right, when I stayed up late last night, California closed.
Not to do that shit.
You did, but California closed, And the very next moment, they called California for Kamala because there's no question as to whether or not that's
Right.
going to go Democratic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And she was going to get all of those electoral college votes.
Right. So if when we talk about electoral college, look at this. Here's where you stand, right? And we can break this down in different ways to see. And matter of fact, if y'all give me a second, what I'll do is I'll show you the electoral college breakdown between the different states
And
right?
where they vote. Right.
So what people got to understand is that depending on what the state is, that's why you have what's called battleground states. When you get into these battleground states, right? Listen, y'all, we always knew that the only way Kamala was going to win is if she won the majority of the battleground states, right? What happened was that nigga Trump won them all. You know what I'm saying? There was no coming back from that.
Nothing.
Oh man,
because
but yeah,
because the Reds are going to be the Reds, the Blues are going to be the Blues. There are certain ones that you just know are going to be what they are. Now you had some outliers the last time, like you say, when Georgia went blue. Oh, that was a major thing, and I think I was telling people well before, they're never going to let that happen again. They're not going to let that happen again. They made sure they focused on those battleground states and locked them up well before Kamala even became a thought in the Democratic process. And her ground game was not where it needed to be to go and get those votes.
Bro, look at this. This is what I'm talking about, right? So if this is your entire map, right? As you can see, like California's got 54 electoral votes, right? Texas has 40 electoral votes. New Mexico only has 5. So you'll see the difference in the different states. Kentucky's got 8. Florida, I think, 30. Florida's got 30. What New York got? New York's got 29. So some of these densely populated states have higher electoral counts, even if they're physically smaller than the other states. So what the plan usually is that we're going to go after our base. And that's why you saw all the way up until maybe the last 3 weeks of this campaign, it looked like everybody was just talking to people who are already in their camp. Right. What they were trying to do was trying to amp up their people to make sure that they come out and vote. Because if Florida somehow goes blue, oh my gosh, I just lost another 30 electoral votes that were supposed to be squarely, solidly in my camp.
It's a race to 270.
It is absolutely a race to 270. And what people don't understand, like North Carolina, South Carolina, like when you think of Alabama and Mississippi, you know they're going red. But you know what? Nobody cares. Alabama's got 9 electoral votes. Mississippi's got 5 or 6, excuse me. Right. You know what I'm saying? But when you get out to Nevada, it's got 6. Arizona's got 11. But if I string enough of them together, right? Oh snap! Because if we just keep ours and you keep yours, we're about even.
And that's why you look at the Michigans and you look at the Pennsylvanias and you look at those battleground areas, Wisconsin, those sorts of places. Like those few votes, they carry the day because you can flip those. Those can be red or blue. They're known as like purples. They're the purples. So you those are the ones, because you have your base that's going to be in certain states. So you don't really worry about going there and trying to flip those guys. You just want to go in there and make sure you're seen. But I think Trump knew that he was going to get Georgia, he was going to get Florida, and that pretty much is what lost it for him the last time. He made an effort to win home.
Right. And what's really sad about it is that because we don't have a one vote or one ballot, one vote.
Yeah, one man, one vote. Right.
It's really about, so the best way I can explain the Electoral College is we all have agreed here at my house that whatever gets the most votes, that's what we're gonna have for dinner, right? It's not, so we're not gonna have 3 different dinners. We're not gonna go, nope. Whatever we want to, we're gonna say whoever gets all of them, we either having spaghetti or we having steak, right? Well, I want spaghetti. My wife wants spaghetti. The boy wants steak. The daughter wants steak. and now here comes this little nigga over here. He wants steak too. So guess what? Now, no matter what, I got to put my vote with steak. I'm signing off to say, okay, fine, we all want steak. Knowing good and hell well we didn't. And that's where you get into the different counties in your states. So those different Miami-Dade and is a big one. Orange County,
where you are.
Orange County went blue.
Surprise,
Orange County went blue. Unfortunately,
I think that's because of DeSantis. Though I think they were just trying to rebel against DeSantis and taking Disney because they don't want him to have Disney. They don't want them to take Disney from him.
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret. Here we go. You ready? Number one, Orange County is Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Orlando is not where Disney is.
Disney
is in Osceola County.
Jesus.
Here's the thing. Also, Orange County is not where Tech is. Tech is in Lake County. Like, so this is, and these are the little things. And I know what you're getting at. I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying to you is
they employ a bunch of niggas out of Orange County.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. That's where the disconnect comes from the parties.
DeSantis is not crazy. He's stupid, but he ain't stupid. You understand what I'm saying? He's crazy, but he ain't stupid. The thing is, what you got to remember is that DeSantis kept that Disney fight up here. So what he was doing never really affected the people down here.
Right. Not yet.
And the Republicans are masters of doing that. Republicans are masters of, guess what? We're going to change the whole game. We're going to convince y'all to vote for it or either not pay attention to it at all. And then once it's a law, now I can do whatever I want to do. Forget what you want. And they are masters of that. What people don't understand is there are only a few people that I know that actually pay attention and dig down deep into some of the minutia of these elections or these races and stuff like that. To me, it's fun. I didn't take any real civics classes in school. You know what I'm saying? So everything I'm gonna tell you when I got into politics. I got into politics during George W. Bush.
The
whole 9/11 and then that whole thing. That's when I got into politics, start paying attention, because I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, how can we go into I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but them niggas told me that this was Bin Laden and the Twin Towers. Okay, Bin Laden. Where's Bin Laden at? We think he's in Afghanistan. Okay, Bin Laden, Afghanistan. Twin Towers in New York, Bin Laden, Afghanistan. Cool. Yeah, we're going to get them back. Cool, we're going to get them back. Bin Laden, Twin Towers, Afghanistan. All right, cool. We're going into Iraq. Excuse me. I'm right. I'm like, flap. Hold on a second. Like, right here. Well, hold on. I don't understand that. Now, I know. And that's when I started getting into it. Now, when Obama was running, they said all types of stuff. So I was ready by then. You understand what I'm saying? So it was fun. And now I understand the different nuances of the different stuff. And so I see stuff coming, which makes it worse that I didn't see this. You know what?
I promise you, I do not. I still don't understand why. I'm gonna go back to something you mentioned earlier about the Hispanic vote. How did you not believe? How did you not know that they were gonna vote Republican? They always do,
but not like that. They don't.
They always do.
Listen. Hispanics in general are usually vote more conservative than any other group besides whites. The reason being, I believe, is culturally they are heavily Christian, but not Christian like me and you Christian, like Protestant Christian. They're more Catholics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so when you pull out something like an abortion thing, they go, okay, I'm not vote. They equate voting for the Democrat as voting for abortion, where black people look at it as voting for the Democrat is voting for the Democrat who happens to believe in abortion. You understand what I'm saying? This is what confuses me, though.
That's the same thing that happens with the evangelical Christians. Is they see a particular point. They don't care about the person that's spilling the point out to them, because if they can accept everything about their candidate, but it's the policy that they're going to be behind. I hate him, but it's this one policy. They don't want the woke. They don't want the abortions. They don't want. Why you roll your eyes at the woke? You still don't like woke. You haven't come around to them saying woke.
I don't like it. I'm because I am a wordsmith. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a writer. I'm a musician. I was a rapper. Words mean what they mean, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so when what's his name said, so stay woke.
Yeah.
That really meant open your eyes, stop dreaming, open your eyes to what's going on around you, wake up and see how they're manipulating the game. And I was like, that is amazing. That is beautiful. That is wonderful. Now, this is where Democrats piss me off. This is where Black Democrats piss me off.
Okay.
Because we are so open and let anybody join in our coalition of Black folks, they get to confiscate and take over what we're doing and then become the face of it, distort it, and now it's easier to go against. I'll give you an example. There's a video out there of these Black girls. It was two big crowds, and this white guy who is obviously a Trump supporter, and he's got his baby, a daughter, in a stroller, and these two Black girls are arguing with the white guy. Okay, it seems aggressive, but we always seem aggressive when we get loud, especially Black females seem aggressive when they get loud. Here's the problem. White girl jumps in the middle of them, and when the white man turns his back this way, the white girl leans down into the baby carriage and starts screaming in the baby's face. The Black girl goes, whoa, 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 you can't do that. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that right there was the quintessential, I'm going to take over what y'all are doing, and then
go too far.
And so now when you see that, I saw that and saw a white girl go too far. What they would do is they would take that and lump those two Black girls and that white girl together and say their whole movement went too far. And we have allowed that to happen far too many times. And specifically, we allowed it to happen with the term woke. If we would have just kept it and been like, no, we believe that y'all have built a racist system. The system's not broken. It's designed to do exactly what it's doing. So we're going to rock with that. And we need to wake up to what's going on around us. Now woke means that you get to do anything, gender reassignment, all this other stuff, true or untrue, they've been able to label it with
everything
that.
as woke. And we are so in need of allies that at times we fail to realize that we're no longer allies any longer.
We're not in need of allies. The only allies we need is us. If we would all get, if Black folks did what white folks do, we would be so, bruh, come on. If Black folks did what Asian people do, if Black folks did and I mean in mass, I'm not talking about us
individuals, right?
Because everybody I know that I kick it with, that's how we are.
Right.
I'm gonna ride with you, and if you're wrong, me and you gonna have that conversation over here.
Right.
You know
and that's the one thing that I think we're gonna eventually have to come to an understanding on as a people is we have to move as one. We may not always agree on on where we're going, but we all have to move as a force, because if they're able to separate us and move and divide us and have these things go on, then we're never going to be as strong as we actually can be. But that's something that we're so interested in bringing everybody together that we don't bring that we're bringing outsiders in, that we forget about each other. So why not just, Black folks, hey, we need to have a meeting. We need to have a come to Jesus meeting with one another behind closed doors. But that's why I always say we should go back and vote Republican. And here's where y'all get upset with me about this. If Black folks decided to come together and all join the Republican Party, we would not have a Donald Trump as a candidate. because we wouldn't have allowed that in the primaries. He would have never made it through.
I'll agree with that.
Because we don't care enough about what they're doing over there, that by the time he shows up, there's not enough of us to make a difference. That's the problem. Because there's enough of us to change things in the Republican Party. There's enough that we've got enough votes as a collective that we can move things around. We move things around on the Democratic side as far as who's going to be the nominee. We move those. We don't move the nationals as much. Because like I said, in this election, if every Negro who voted for Kamala, we still wouldn't have had enough. But let's say we're all registered as Republicans. There are enough of us that it could have been anybody but Donald Trump that would have been the nominee for the Republican side.
But I don't agree with the Republican platform. And I don't if history has taught us nothing.
And that's the other thing. You get to set the platform from the inside. You can't set the platform from outside.
You do not, nigga.
Why can't you?
Well, there is no way. If history has taught us nothing, it don't matter how many of you niggas is around. The rules don't ever get set by you. That you can get over. I don't care what
your votes will decide who actually is there, so you can get.
Look at the niggas who are on TV. Look at the Negroes who is on TV.
Because they know it's just them, so they get to go coon. They got to go coon, and because it's only me.
No, you ain't never got to go coon. You ain't never got to go coon. Well, you can die. You can die, and that's what you should do. You can die. No. Before I tap dance and shine shoes and yassa, and y'all Donald Trump is all good. Bye.
They gonna go out there and tap dance, but again, because there's not enough of them. There's not enough of us, because that's me. That's why I get kicked out of so many. Salute, man. Salute. That's why I get kicked out of so many groups, man, because I'm always for right. I don't care, Republican, Democrat. I'm registered one way, but I'm not an idiot. And I'm not gonna allow them to force me to be an idiot with them. So
but you're not the norm.
I'm not what I'm trying to say. But that's the thing. We need to come together and decide we're gonna. What if Democrats ain't getting shit for us either? They're not helping us out. They keep fucking losing.
There's a
they
difference.
Keep fucking losing.
Democrats aren't doing anything for us, but they're also not doing anything to us.
They're losing. That's what they're doing. You go out there and we put all of our faith in you, and then you go out there and lose and make us look like dicks.
But if you win, if I join a party to win, and that winner decides to deport everybody who looks like me, citizen or not,
and that's the thing. That would not be the platform. That would not be the case if you don't allow him to be put in office. If you don't allow him to be the nominee from that side.
We are arguing over which plantation we need to go ahead and pick cotton on.
Well, niggas, that's what we picking cotton any damn way. We may as well pick one that we can pick the master on.
But we don't get to pick the master. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You can pick the master.
No. The platform, the master is literally put there to execute a platform. You don't get to choose the platform. You don't get to participate in the platform.
Y'all pick Barack Obama. Y'all pick dang on Kamala. Well, actually, Kamala was just given to y'all, but y'all ain't get to pick her. Y'all picked Hillary. Y'all picking masters over there, and then y'all lose to the dang on master that want to deport half the motherfuckers over here. Y'all pick. Right. You decide not to go ahead and make sure that master's not even an option.
What you are saying.
That's the master you need to make sure it's not there.
You just said that we need to support the platform that is definitely trying to
No, not the platform.
Yes, sir. The platform is there.
It's not there. Donald Trump is not a fucking Republican. Donald Trump came in and changed everything.
Donald Trump is the only one in all of election
That was not the Republican platform. He came in and won. Because niggas wasn't there to do shit to stop it.
And
that's the problem.
Donald Trump is the only elected official in the history of elections to actually create a platform and make a group follow him versus the other way around.
And you know why they got in office? Because there was nobody over there to say no.
No, because there was a whole bunch of crackers. There was a whole bunch of white folks who decided.
Because there was nobody over there to tell them that's not happening.
No.
There was nobody over there to stop it. Y'all were so worried about getting
Hillary. There's no stopping that.
Y'all did not.
There was nobody. No, there was not no amount of black folks that was going to stop him.
That was going to stop the teabag movement. The teabag movement, bruh. Once Buddy started Donald Trump set this up so perfectly the first time around when he came out with
Donald Trump, you talking about the Tea Party. Donald Trump went against the leader of the Tea Party, who in essence was at the time John McCain, a war hero, not only a war hero, a white war hero. And he called him a loser,
And
a person who was beloved by everybody. And guess what the white folks did? They said, okay, we still ride with Trump. Do you think that they was going to ride with your black?
Yes, because you would have been over there to say, because your voting bloc would have said that's not acceptable. But you had no voting bloc to stop it. There was none of us over there to support the war hero.
I am flabbergasted. I am taken aback. Because
you're telling me that numbers don't matter. You're telling me the numbers don't matter.
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Man,
not when it comes to party.
Yes, when it comes to party.
No,
when it comes to who's gonna be the nominee, the numbers actually matter. And you Negroes stay over there. And this is what I keep telling you. This is why y'all keep losing, man, because y'all still can't decide between Kamala and Trump.
I want to be real specific with everybody here. I want y'all to notice that he keeps saying y'all keep losing, which means that you're on the other team, which means that you should. That's why you grinning so much tonight.
I am on the other team, and I'm cheering for y'all motherfuckers, and y'all motherfuckers keep losing.
No, you're not. You're trying to dismantle the other team. You're trying to dismantle the other team. That's what you're doing. You're trying to dismantle the other team. Let's be clear.
I'm giving you niggas the game plan, and y'all still won't use it to fucking get a win.
Let's be clear. I am a registered Democrat, and I don't vote party. I do vote principle. I don't vote party. Now, unfortunately, I have not run into any Republicans in any situations where I voted that I supported in that sense, if that makes sense to you.
I feel a couple of them on my local. I feel a couple of them on my locals. I would say that much.
And you're in you were from the state capitol,
right? And I've seen some things, and I know some folks. So yeah,
right. And you know a lot of people who are in state government, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when it comes to school board, when it comes to county commissioners, that sort of thing. Right. Yeah, when it comes to judges, because I know some Republican judges who are on our side. I know a couple of them personally. I know some folks who
and I don't have a problem when it comes down to those real Republicans, people who are socially
actually share my value, right?
Or fiscally conservative.
The fiscal responsibility is a Republican like state, and But you guys allowed someone to come in and co-opt my party. When they say I'm a rhino, I'm a Republican in name only, that's what I call them. Donald Trump wasn't a Republican before he decided to run for president. He came in here because he knew that there would be a lot of poorly educated, as he says, and racist.
I love the poorly educated.
Right. And poor people who see this rich man as something that they can aspire to be, and someone who's going to create jobs. Like, they're the ones who always want to be somebody's employee. So I'm going to make sure my boss has a good, because he's going to help me out down the line. And niggas have gotten to the point where we don't want to work for nobody. We were slaves long enough. We don't want to work for nobody, and we keep on trying to hustle our way out of this shit. But
now, do you think that's a plus or a minus? Let's be real. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing that we've gotten to this? And I'm not going to call it an entrepreneurial spirit, because that's not what it is.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No.
Where it's just like, I don't want to listen to nobody else, so I'm going to do it on my own. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
And you know that's a terrible thing, because somebody got to fucking work. Somebody got to work.
Right.
Somebody's got to work.
Because we've got that attitude. And listen, take it from a business owner. I've been in a situation where I got out there and realized, like, oh wait, if I don't do it, it won't get done. If I don't make it, it won't get made. If I don't get paid for it, we won't get paid. So there's no money coming in unless I do it all. So There's no more looking at somebody else. There's no more walking in the building and the lights are just on. No, nigga, if you didn't pay the bill, ain't no lights. You understand what I'm saying? There's no more of that. So
and I applaud anyone who's willing to go out there and do it and try it, put it on the line. But I don't want you to do it just because I don't want to work for somebody else. Do it because you have a passion for what you do. And that's where a lot of us go wrong, is we much rather just, I don't feel like working for nobody else. And we put that same energy that we put on the job working for someone else into our own. So that means we don't show up every day. We don't give our own. We won't work any overtime. We won't do. I'm just going to do it. We do the bare minimum and expect it to be great.
If you are leaving your job because they ask you to do extra and you say, no, I'm not doing that extra, I'm gonna go do it on my own, you've already got the wrong mindset,
because
you got
everything is extra
3-4 times as much as you do before. Hey, let me switch gears real quick. I want to switch gears because the presidential race was not the only disappointing thing that happened on our local front, right?
So this is where I'm a little upset.
Florida says no to legal weed and abortion protections, brother. I'm telling you, listen, bro. Let me tell you what's funny about this. And I don't know what goes on, what state you're watching from or whatever, but here in Florida, for constitutional amendments,
3 and 4,
it has to be 60% or higher.
Yes,
like that. It has to pass the threshold of 60% yay for it to be accepted as a constitutional amendment. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to look this up right now, but if I'm not mistaken, legalizing marijuana made it to
55.9.
55.9, and abortion made it to 57.
Yeah,
is that right? So
now we've gone from a potential 26-week, I believe it was.
Yeah,
and we're stuck with what the governor signed at 6 weeks?
6 weeks, sir.
Yeah.
Now, they say that in Florida, the weed measure is still going to be addressed. So they're not going to make it a constitution, but they're still looking at decriminalizing it.
Right.
They're not going to legalize it, but they're looking at decriminalizing it. So if it goes the way that other states have gone, it'll be okay. Well, if you're caught with this a certain amount and below,
some states go with like 2 ounces
or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. And what we used to call personals. If you get caught with personals, then you're gonna get a ticket. You go home, and there'll be something equivalent to a speeding ticket or something like that. If it's above that, it's still going to be slap on the wrist type of stuff. Maybe an appearance, and you might get a bigger fine. Right. But it's not. I think long run, the whole weed thing. I think as a nation, we've kind of gotten over it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's still Schedule 1 on the federal level, right?
No, sir. They changed it. It did get changed.
Lowered? Okay.
Yeah, it got lowered. So now here's the thing, and this is the disappointing part. When I did partake in smoking weed, it was a dangerous, illegal thing. Now that I don't smoke, it's like, bro, I will tell you this. I played, I'm not going to say the name of the establishment, but I played at a place that was a dispensary locally. And I remember being in that place. We were setting up. It was their grand opening. And I went, wait a minute. And I looked outside, and I can distinctly remember looking up the street. I called D. Breeze, if you watching, you can attest to this. I called Breeze and was like, yo, you remember when Biz got arrested at such and such a corner because he had such and such on or whatever? He's like, yeah. I'm like, bro, I'm at that corner right now at a legal and so I'm in a building.
It's crazy, right?
Literally walking distance from where my boy got one of his many charges for weed, and I'm in a dispensary watching it open up, helping it along.
It is crazy how the world has changed that much for the medicals, and I understand the medical is necessary. It was necessary. I think it was necessary because there are way too many drugs that we are allowed to put in our bodies that are harmful to us. When
yes, sir,
I smoked reefer since I was 11 years old up until some years ago, and I think I got better. I think I got better.
Hey, listen,
that's one of my best moments, huh?
I'm gonna be real with you. I had a back injury. I was prescribed, no exaggeration, 120 hydrocodone a month.
That is
they gave me hydrocodone to take 4 times a day. Now there are certain levels, so most people get 5s,
right?
Then the highest I believe is the 10s. I had the 7.5s.
That's still
I
too
got
much.
120 7.5s a month religiously. Like there was no question, there was no nothing. It was just 120. Here you go. Have a great day, sir. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
I know me. There was no way I was taking 120 hydrocodone in a like that. I'm not taking 4 hydrocodone. I got stuff to do today.
I'm not taking 4 Tylenol a goddamn day, let alone some hydros, man. Come on.
Bro, it was bananas. Now, I'm not gonna tell you what happened to the rest of those pills.
Right.
But let's just say
they got lost.
Yeah, they got lost. So hey, we got this right here, and I think this is true. It says seems like politicians are attempting to lump blacks in with all American people. That's why they never say what they're going to do for us. Yo, Dennis, boy, if you ain't just hit the nail on the head, in my opinion, my dog. Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
I am against always using the term people of color.
Mm-hmm.
I am against. I look, when you talk about me, talk about black folks, and the reason I say that is because there is never a problem discussing what you can do for any demographic until it comes down to black folks. Because when it comes to black folks, then it becomes all people of color.
It's a trigger warning when it comes to black people only. It's a trigger warning.
I'm so sorry. And that's not fair. And I'm not saying that black people are better than. I believe we are, but I'm not saying that black people are better than or worse than. I'm not saying any group of people should be excluded. What I am saying is that if gay people and Jewish people and Asian people and white people and Native American people and Hispanic people can get things in legislation that's specifically for them, why is it wrong to have something specifically for black people? And we're talking black people of African descent, from the African diaspora, people who were descendants of slaves,
of chattel slavery.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that just seems.
And I think that might be the last thing that we got was being free from slavery. I think that was the last thing we got, because all the civil rights acts, they ended up covering women, they ended up covering the handicapped, they ended up covering the LGBTQ, like all of our rights that we got, they lumped in everybody else with. So it's just a civil right. There's no black rights.
That's the same. Then that's the same thing with the slavery, because when it comes down to it, the vast majority of the slave trade was from Africa, but you also had the Irish.
But those were indentured servants. They were allowed to be freed at some point. We were the only ones who you were born in and you belonged to somebody else. With those people,
you're right.
They were not just slaves. They were indentured servants. They worked for a time period, and then they were able to go on about their lives. They had families. Your family is not considered a slave here or a servant under my liege.
Bro, when I get the nerd out on stuff sometimes, so I'll be down the rabbit hole on YouTube. But I was watching, and what it was is when you got these indentured servants, they were looked at as equal to these black slaves. And what happened was we had a couple of attempted revolts where you ended up with these white indentured servants who teamed up with these black slaves, African slaves, and tried to overthrow a plantation. So what did slave owners do? They said, you know what? We can't let them team up. So what they did was they gave a little bit of extra to those white indentured servants, and that's all it took for them to turn their back on them black slaves, even though they were getting the same treatment at one point. Now the ones who you were side by side with, struggling with, they gave you a little bit more, and you were able to turn your back on them. Two things from that. Number one, that shows me where some of us get that mentality from, where it's like, you know what, we're in this together, and then as soon as I get a little bit, man, forget them niggas.
A little bit of power, right?
And number two, white women did the same thing. They did the same thing. We're during the women's suffrage movement. I know we already talked about it. Nigga, I'm going back.
Go back. Go ahead.
We had the women's suffrage movement where women overall were not considered to say you couldn't do nothing without permission from your male, the man who was over you, whether that was your husband or your father. Sometimes if your husband was dead, it was your brother-in-law or your older brother. Whatever it was, you had to be subservient to a man. And soon as they gave you a little bit, you went, forget the women's suffrage thing. Now it's white women have a little bit more. Okay, cool, we're good. I don't know why those Negro girls over there are mad.
But I will say, even before the suffrage movement, when all those white men in power in your lives died, and they left you their slaves, you were the slave. You were the slave owner. You were master then,
and a lot of times more brutal than the men.
Exactly. So that's something I'm like. I love white women. I do. I love women. Period. I love them, and it's never gonna be a thing where it's like all of you guys are the devils and all. Like I'm never running through that. Like I know some folks who do, but I'm never running that way. But what I will say is there are a lot of you who don't speak up and don't step up and make things better for everyone else. And you know why, and I know why, because you don't want to lose what you have supporting those folks. Now there are there are a few, and I'm not going to say all of you, none of you do, because there are some of them that go out there and put their ass on the line for the folks. Yeah, and go a little overboard, because you want to show that you are an ally. But for the most part, man, it's just hurtful. It's really hurtful to see that this is where we go. This is how it goes. And you Christians, you Christian white folks. I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna say, you Christian white folks, need y'all to go back and read that Bible all over again. Because y'all don't want to be like Jesus.
Nah, they want to be like Jesus. That's the problem.
Y'all don't want to be like Jesus because not caring about anybody, like forcing people. And I think I'm sorry, I'm finna bounce off of that just for a moment.
Okay,
and go back to Florida and this abortion law.
Yes, sir.
Amen. Stay out these women draws. This is a conversation. Like there's certain conversations I think black folks need to have amongst themselves. This is a conversation women need to have amongst themselves. We need to stay the fuck out of that.
What?
We don't get to tell women when to have abortions,
true,
or when not to have an abortions.
Right.
Hey, we got to stay out of that whole conversation. We don't get to say anything about that. Women, go for it. Have that conversation amongst yourselves. There should not be a man telling a woman what to do with her body.
True. Agreed.
So these are conversations we need to stay the fuck away from. We don't need to set any laws based on how these women are going to work their bodies or add my religion to what their religion is. God gives free will for a whole lot of things. Yeah. And in this particular instance, ladies, do what you need to do amongst one another and let us know how you work that out after the fact, because I don't need to tell you can't have an abortion. I don't need to tell you to have an abortion. I can't do either of those. So I don't need to legislate what you do with your body ever. So ladies, y'all need to talk amongst yourselves, find a way to figure that out. and then come back and holler at us and let us know what y'all figured out, and then we can go from there. But
hey,
I don't like the fact.
I'm gonna show you what happens when white women get involved in stuff that black people is trying to do. Remember that clip I was talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Watch this. It's like, whoa.
Like, we didn't need that. God. Damn, Rebecca, what the fuck's going on? Okay, Becky went a little overboard there. I'm down.
Yo, she was stalking the whole thing.
You saw her walk over? But what? See,
oh my God!
And again, that's another. I think that's just another black thing. Like we don't bother. We don't bother nobody kids.
He said, "Wait, look." She looked. She turned back. I don't give up. She said, "Whoa! What are you doing? What are you doing? We don't do that." Whoa! It kicked her out too.
Fuck out of here.
Here's the fun part. She tried to come back. Look at Auntie in the back. Auntie said, "Wait. Hey, she yelling at her man. But what? Hey, little white
girl, get your ass out the way.
Get out of here."
Yeah, Rebecca.
Oh, she went a bit far.
Yeah,
she went a bit far.
She went a little too far for my liking there, buddy. Too far.
But that's what I think that is what happens, bro. What happens is
they co-opt the
and
movements.
right, and we gonna get out of here. I know, but what I will say is this: the reason that I'm disappointed, and I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the reason that you're laughing at me and people like me for being disappointed is because again we've gotten to a situation where we thought, against all of our better knowledge, against all of history, that people who have shown us historically that they'll tell us one thing and act differently let us down again. And it's like we believed in them again. And I think that's where we stand right now. We stand at a point where we have all thought that, you know what, this time white women, or this time white men, or this time this group or that group is going to stand
Our
up for
brown
us.
brothers and sisters are gonna
No, and what we got to realize is that if Trump can say he's a nationalist, maybe, just maybe, I need to be a nationalist too. But my nation is nation of Black Americans, and I don't have to go against any other group because I want everyone to be treated equally. I want everyone to get their rights. But at this moment right now, I'm looking at my brothers and sisters going, you know what? We're in a bad situation. We need to focus right here because no one else is going to. So that's my piece on that, bro.
And we need to have a meeting. Again, we are at a point as Black Americans where we're in that abusive relationship with America, and they keep punching us in our shit and then apologizing to us. And we keep saying, "Oh, I forgive you." And we go right back and let them do it again. We're in an abusive relationship, and we just cannot let that nigga go.
Jesus.
But yeah, I'm gonna get some game for the night, though. I got some game. I wrote something down. I got some game. Right. I wrote something down, so I'm gonna go ahead and read this one off. Had to write
I'm gonna let you have it, sir. You got it.
I was in my introspective bag earlier today, and I had some thoughts for the people because I know there's a lot of folks upset. So for the game for the night, in the wake of last night's election, we as Black people must keep things in perspective. Many of us wanted VP Harris to win. She didn't. So now we must make an effort to keep ourselves grounded. First thing, don't panic. We have been here before. We know what our emboldened neighbors will be on moving forward. So fix your face. Don't let them see you sweat. It's okay to be disappointed, upset, dejected. Just don't let them see you broken. Secondly, start planning for the midterms. I mentioned this earlier. Start planning for the midterms. We see the Senate and the House have both gone Republican. I know the House isn't determined completely yet, but y'all know what time it is. This means that your local elections probably didn't go the way that you wanted either. So policies, judges, federal funds will be decided by the Republicans. So vet and support a viable candidate to flip the House in 2026. Around 1/3 of the Senate is going to be up for grabs also. So make sure that you vet a viable candidate to support. Be prepared. The presidential election is not the only thing that matters. It's probably not the most important thing where you live. And lastly, Black folks, let's stay united as a people. Nobody wins when the family feuds. We too often point the finger at one another for not doing enough, especially during election time. It's too late for that now. Took that L. We're at a point where we must encourage, educate, and embrace each other so that when the times comes, we'll be prepared to move as a force. And that's the game for the night. Take it or leave it.
Wow, bro. You ain't never lied, bro.
Bro,
you have never, ever lied.
We got to figure that out, man. We got to figure that out. But again, I think the main point that I wanted to make on that, man, fix your face. Don't go out there and let them folks see you shaking, see you upset, because that's what they really want. And I think I mentioned this to you before earlier today too. I think some of the Black folks that voted for Trump, they just wanted to be right this time.
Right.
They just wanted to be on the side of right. They're so sick of losing, so they went out there so they'll have something to pound their chest and I told y'all so, I told y'all so. And I think that's where a lot of it comes from because they don't understand his policy. They don't know what he's going to do. They don't care about that. They just wanted to join a side that was going to win so they can get a dub. And they got it. So don't allow them to get in your heads and piss y'all off. Fix your face. When you see them white folks that you know voted for Trump, I got some folks across the street from me that got some Trump in their front yard. I'm going to still speak to them in the morning. still say hello, because they're not gonna get to see me shaking or shaking. That's what it is, man. Hey, cousin.
Yo, what up, cousin?
We ain't been canceled yet, so we're gonna have to do this again.
I guess so. If we still got a country, we still got free speech. Next time we'll do it again.
If we don't, we'll pull this motherfucker up on some CB radios, man. We gotta get happy.
Boy.
We'll be back next Wednesday, y'all, man. Cousin, I love you, boy.
Hey, I love you too, boy.
Love y'all. Y'all be good.
Yeah, for sure.